Hi, if you're here for the free Bitcoin giveaway, I've got some good news for you and I've got some bad news for you. The bad news first, there's no such thing as a free Bitcoin giveaway. But now, the good news. Good news is you clicked on my video rather than one of the thousands of crypto scams going around right now. And in this video, I'm going to help you avoid getting scammed. Welcome to the Blockhead podcast, where we share the most unpopular opinions in crypto. Today, we're going to lay out the 5 most common scams in crypto and how you can avoid them. Because after all, Warren Buffett, in giving his investment advice, said rule number 1 of investing is never lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Scams in crypto are a huge problem, and it's particularly hurts my feelings because the number of crypto scams out there really paints crypto in a bad light. You can even see this when you hear US congressmen talking about crypto. They have the impression that the only thing that crypto is good for is scams. And here's the thing, there's a lot of scams in crypto. A lot of them are more obvious than others, but all of them are making criminals wealthy, and that is not what we want. Make sure that you hang out until the end, because number 5 is a not very obvious one that I think everybody needs to know about, especially if you're going to put any sizable amount of money into cryptocurrencies. So, number 1, this one you hear about all the time. It's rug pulls. Right? So what is a rug pull? A rug pull is essentially when the team or sometimes the developers behind a token or a coin just takes investor money and disappears. This happens in a whole bunch of different ways. The biggest one is probably the OneCoin scam, where they all convinced thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people to invest Bitcoin into the OneCoin project, which ended up not really being a thing. They just disappeared with the money. And if I'm not mistaken, the primary culprit in that case is still on the loose after stealing $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. There's lots of different ways that the rug pull manifests, however. This can happen now on smart contract platforms. So definitely watch out for that. There can be places where theoretically you can lock up your funds in smart contracts and earn yield and things like that, which is not always a rug pull. So here's the thing. In smart contracts, when you lock your money into a vault or trove or whatever you want to call it, when you give a smart contract access to your funds, sometimes the developers don't have access to them. In my own protocol that I wrote, I've written multiple protocols. I never write in a way that I could steal the funds if I wanted to. And that's what you're looking for in a smart contract. You don't want a way that one of the developers can go in and change a variable and pull out your funds. Now, I know this can be tricky because not all of you are smart contract developers. In fact, I'm willing to bet very few of you are or ever will be smart contract developers. So here's what you can do instead. There is a team that specializes in looking for rug pulls in crypto in particular. So before you interact with the smart contract, especially if it's a no-name or smaller project. At this point, most of the large projects have been audited pretty thoroughly. I'm talking about Aave and Uniswap. Uh, m- the very large projects have been very thoroughly audited at this point. But if you are considering putting money into a smaller protocol, go over here first. Go to rugdoc.io. Now they don't cover everything, and that's for various reasons. Number one is that these protocols come out way faster than any one team could possibly keep up with. But it's worth checking and making sure that you are not putting money into a high risk smart contract. Things that would make it high risk would be that the developers have access to it. It's not been audited. There's an anonymous team behind it. If the developers of the protocol do not want to make themselves uh, known publicly, there's a good chance that they're going to disappear with all the funds. And there's a good chance that that was the plan from the beginning. So watch out for rug pulls. Check out the rug doc. And if you're unsure, just skip it. It's not worth losing all your funds. Number 2 crypto scam to watch out for is the pump and dump. This has been going on. This is not unique to crypto, but the worldwide and decentralized nature of crypto has really made it a problem in crypto. The most notable version of a pump and dump that I can think of in recent history is probably Ethereum Max. If you're not familiar with the Ethereum Max token, that's probably for the best. It was a completely useless ERC20 token. It didn't do anything as far as I'm aware. It had no utility, but it had a great promotional team behind it. Then what they did is they gave a whole bunch of this Ethereum Max to a bunch of celebrities and then paid these celebrities to promote the token. You can guess what happens next. Price of the token goes up, and then the promoters of the token dump all the tokens and cashed out all the money. There's been an investigation into this. Kim Kardashian, in particular, was involved in pumping and dumping this token. I don't know if she's involved in dumping it, but she certainly was pumping it uh, through her social media. So watch out for the pump and dump. Sometimes there will be groups that will invite you to be part of the pump and dump. If you think this is a good idea, shame on you. And go ahead and join, see what happens. You are the sucker. I'm afraid afraid that your new friends are using you as exit liquidity. You are not part of the group. Before they tell you that they're going to pump, they've already bought their tokens. Before they tell you that they're going to dump, they've already dumped their tokens. You have just become their exit liquidity. They are not your friends. Shame on you for trying to participate in the first place. Number 3, crypto scam to watch out for. This one's a little personal to me because a friend of mine recently just lost a little bit of money. So the number 3 is a phishing scam. Now, phishing scam works basically the same with crypto and without crypto. The tricky thing with crypto is you can lose a lot of money very quickly with a phishing scam. Now, what this looks like in practice, I get these all the time. If you've ever signed up for I think the one that leaked my email information was signing up for the Earn Fi program. I think they're owned by Bankless now. Some unscrupulous character got hold of all of the email addresses that have ever registered on this platform. And now on a daily basis, I receive like 4 or 5 emails saying, click this link and join our airdrop. And it's usually for notable tokens or even airdrops that people know are coming up. Only the link doesn't go to the airdrop, it goes to a phishing website. These phishing scams can take multiple ways, but the one I'm going to tell you in particular to watch out for is you'll land on this website and it will ask you to connect your MetaMask wallet. Connecting it is usually fine. The next step, however, is it will ask you to approve a transaction to see if you qualify for the airdrop or something like that. Usually what happens is when you approve this transaction, you're approving a smart contract to withdraw funds from your wallet. And if a developer if the scammer was any good at what they're doing, that money will disappear pretty much instantly. So watch out for this. Airdrops themselves are not necessarily scams. Some of them are scams. Watch out. But there are a lot of scams going around about it. So if you think that you might qualify for an airdrop, seek out the real information. The real takeaway here is do not approve anything in your self-custody wallet that you don't know what you're approving. The wallet will sometimes give you a hint, but sometimes the wallet doesn't even understand what's going on in the smart contract. So only interact with protocols that are legitimate and make sure that you are on the correct page. There's all sorts of websites that will impersonate influencers. You'll have to watch out for those too. All right. The number 4 crypto scam. I'm glad to say I haven't seen this one so much lately as I have in the past. But the free giveaway scam. If you were in crypto, let's say 2019 or so, and you had a YouTube account, you would constantly be bombarded with YouTube videos of notable people, sometimes related with crypto, like Kathy Wood or Elon Musk, who will be talking about crypto, usually from some sort of recorded interview that they did on CNBC or on a podcast. And then there'll be a little thing that says free crypto giveaway. Send us 1 Bitcoin, receive 2 Bitcoins in return. Send us 2 Bitcoins and get 5 Bitcoins in return. Or some version of this. I probably don't have to tell you what happens next. What do you think happens when you send your Bitcoin? Do you think that somebody on the other end sends you 2 Bitcoin in return? I'm afraid that has never happened. And if you're still out there waiting for your 2 Bitcoin, sorry, it's not going to happen. If somebody that you don't know personally is asking you to send them Bitcoin, you're probably being scammed. This is a rule that I've had for years about Western Union. If you ever find yourself standing at a Western Union about to send money to somebody that you don't know personally, you are being scammed. If somebody that you do not know personally is asking you to send them Bitcoin, you're being scammed. This takes place in all sorts of ways, and we're not going to go through all of them, but there's romance scams where folks will pretend to fall in love with you and then say that they found an investment and you've just got to send them some Bitcoin. If you're ever paying in Bitcoin or Target gift cards or Western Union, you're probably being scammed. There is no free giveaway. I'm glad YouTube seems to have shut these down, but you'll still see them every once in a while. Send me 1 Bitcoin and I'll send you 2 back. It's not a thing. All right, now, as promised, number 5. This one kind of vaguely falls into the scam bucket. It's not really a scam, but it is something that I want you to watch out for when buying uh, altcoins in particular, but tokens that are not Bitcoin or Ethereum or things with very large market caps. And that is Tricky Tokenomics. Tricky Tokenomics can take all sorts of different ways that try to trick you into thinking that what you're getting is a good investment. Maybe Safe Moon is a good example of Tricky Tokenomics, where you could buy 1.4 trillion Safe Moons for $1 or something. That's just not how this all works, right? It's not the price of the token that matters, it's the price of the market cap. But the trickier tokenomics that recently has become kind of an issue is a low float on the token that you're looking for. So the reason I'm pointing this out is because this seems to have slipped into crypto and kind of flying under the radar, but it's starting to cause some big problems. Some examples of the low float is the thing that ultimately ruined FTX, right? Now, FTX went down ultimately because they were doing unscrupulous things with customer funds. But the thing that exposed this is that they had a really low float on their FTT token. So what is a low float? That means that only a small percentage of the overall token is actually available for trading. And this has a little magical effect of really rapid increases in prices and, as you might guess, really rapid decreases in prices. So high volatility. So if there are 1 billion tokens, but only 1% of those tokens are actually on the market and for sale, it can make the market cap of those tokens look incredible in a very short period of time. So what happened with FTT and with Celsius, and even recently in DeFi with the Curve token, is that only a small percentage of the tokens are actually on the market, in the hands of people that have the ability to sell them. And then the rest of them are being held by the founders. And here's what's been catching these geniuses off guard lately. So they'll take the token, which they own 70% of, making it have a low float, The price will increase dramatically because of the low supply, and the market cap of that token will look enormous. But it's all smoke and mirrors because that 70% can't actually be sold. There's not enough liquidity for that 70% of the token to actually be sold. So that market cap is all smoke and mirrors. But the market cap is what the market cap is. And folks will take that 70% and use it as collateral. This is what FTX did. This is what happened to the Curve token. It was used as collateral to borrow other tokens. And the problem with this is, with the low float, the price can go down dramatically. And when it does, you can't actually liquidate the tokens because the price goes down too fast to actually liquidate the tokens. If you're trying to sell 70% of the tokens all at once, the price has to go to pretty much zero. This is just one example of Tricky Tokenomics, but it's something to watch out for. Other things about Tricky Tokenomics is look at the inflation schedule, right? Things like Dogecoin have just terrible inflation schedules. If your token inflation is 20% per year, if it's a brand new token, that might be reasonable. If it's 10 years old, not reasonable. If your token has an inflation rate of 1,000% per year, what are you doing? You're probably getting yield. You're getting 700% yield on your token. That's because they're just printing more tokens, right? Terrible tokenomics. Before you buy a token, know what the tokenomics are. Is it an increasing supply? Is there a decreasing supply? What are the tokenomics? Okay. We can't go over all of them because there's a million ways to design it and just as many ways to design it poorly. Watch out for Tricky Tokenomics. So that's it. What we got for you today. Those are our top 5 crypto scams to watch out for. Number 1, the rug pull. Number 2, the pump and dump. Number 3, the phishing scam. Number 4, the free giveaway. Number 5, Tricky Tokenomics. These are by no means all the scams in crypto, but these are some of the most common to watch out for. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a review. Drop by our website at blockhead.finance and join our mailing list for lots and lots of ways to keep your crypto safe.